Hello my friends, this is lesson 8 and 9. It will be for grades 3, 4, and 5. We're going to do several things. This is going to be for this upcoming week, this week and the next week. What you're going to do is you can choose what you want to draw. One of the final examples is a turkey. So the patterns that you started working on last week, you're going to do those Zentangled patterns inside your turkey or a pumpkin. It's your choice. If you do the turkey, make it easy on yourself. Find some lids or circles. So you could draw one circle, and then I have another one. You could draw another circle on top. Use a pencil when you're drawing your circle. You could add a hat or not add a hat. You could make yourself a stencil. It's easier to make yourself a stencil for the big feathers. And then make yourself a smaller stencil for the smaller feathers. And of course the feathers will go behind the turkey so you wouldn't see but just half of it. But I am going to do the example on a pumpkin so you can see how to draw a pumpkin. We want a realistic pumpkin. We don't want a gelled pumpkin. To me, a gelled pumpkin, I call it a gelled pumpkin because it's basically an oval or a circle. You put a top on it and then you give it bars. That is not what a pumpkin looks like. It does not have straight lines, and it is not a top hat. You guys are in 3rd, 4th, and 5th, so I want you guys to be drawing realistic pumpkins. First way that I can see to draw a realistic pumpkin is to draw a bird or the letter M, but not like a humped letter M, but a flattened letter M. Then this point and this point are going to curve in the same direction, just like this, up. And then you can connect it. Now you could curve the opposite direction. You could curve this way and then curve this way and put a top. It doesn't matter. It's just a choice. Then you're going to start halfway between the stem, back here and back here, halfway. And I am making more of a flattened one versus a tall one. I can show you how to do a tall one in just a minute. Then you've noticed you have 3 points, 1, 2, and 3. Each of those points are going to have 2 curved lines, no more than 2 curved lines. All the lines on this side are going to curve this direction. All the lines on this side are going to curve this direction. So an easy way to remember it is to think of it like a sandwich. You hold a sandwich like this and you eat it. So all the lines are held the same way you would hold a sandwich. And each point gets 2 curved lines, not gelled lines, curved. So you're going to curve, curve, and then this one is like a half curve. Then you're going to curve, curve, and then a half curve. Don't worry about all those pencil marks. I did it with a pencil first. I went over it with a marker, which is what you want to do. And now I'm going to go back and show good craftsmanship. And because I used a Sharpie, it's not going to smear. And then I erase those pencil marks. That's how you show good quality work, is after you've done your drawing, you go back and you erase those pencil marks. So remember, you can always pause this video where you need to and watch the step again in order to draw it the way you want to draw it. I'll show you how to draw it tall before I move on to the next step. So this is my paper. Again, I'm going to start with my letter M or my bird, and I'm going to curve it. Since I curved this one this direction, I'll curve it the opposite direction so you can see it doesn't really matter. It's just a choice. Curve, and then I curve in. So if you notice, I went in and curved, and then I connected. Then I bring this down. I'll make sure I can stay on camera here. Halfway, curve down. I don't like how this is going an oval in, so I'm just going to pause. Okay, so again, remember, each point only gets 2 lines. So I'm going to start, make sure you can see me. start here and I'm going to curve all the way down. And I'm going to come over here and curve all the way down. And then I'm going to give this one a half curve down. Let's see where I messed up right here. I'm just going to fix it. And then all the lines on this side. Curve all the way down. Curve all the way down. And curve all the way up. See, I don't like how that looks because I think it doesn't look right. It's not proportionate, so I'm actually going to bring this over like this. Should probably do the same thing on this side. Make it more to the side. Okay, so once you've done that, then again, you outline it with a Sharpie. Now, after you have done all your Zentangles, okay? So after you've done all your Zentangles, in order to make this really pop, you can see where I kind of got some watercolor on here, which isn't a big deal. To make it pop, we're going to watercolor the background, and then we're going to add some salt, but different than the other time. So let me move stuff around. Put this on a tray. Oh, looks like I'm not going to be able to put it on a tray. So this is a pumpkin. Let's see, I did warm colors on this one, so I think I'm going to do cool colors on this one. I think I'm going to do blue and purple. Okay. Move all my other papers out of the way. So what you're going to do is you're going to put a whole lot of paint all over, just like this. Just make sure it's really wet. You want it really, really wet, because if it's not wet, then the salt won't do what we want it to do. We're going to let the colors kind of bleed. Bleed together or blend together, however you want to call it. Okay, so I'm only going to do half because you can see this is starting to dry, so I'm going to go back over it and add some more watercolor. I'm going to go ahead and get my tray back. Like this. May need to add just a little bit more, so it's going to work. Mine's paper's drying really fast, so if it starts drying too fast for you, go ahead and start putting that salt on, because it doesn't work unless your watercolor is wet. If your watercolor is wet, then the salt will work. That doesn't mean you can see I've got some salt on my paintbrush, so it's not going to work like that. So you put it on first and then you put the salt. Let me go ahead and do this side. Might even be best to like sprinkle as you go if you have a salt shaker. So don't worry about if some of the salt gets mixed up. Sprinkle some salt. Just remember, this will be like the last thing you do. I guess you could do it first if you wanted to. But you want to do your Zentangle that you'd been practicing on, all those patterns you did last week. And then you let it sit, and when you let it sit and it dries, then you'll be able to scrape off the salt. And I don't know if you can see the texture not very well, but you can see that there's texture on here. And the texture came from the salt. So this is all salt texture right here. Okay. So when you're finished, send us a picture or go to the Flipgrid and do a video. I'd love to, I can respond back to you if you do a Flipgrid. And so I'd love to see your finished products. Bye guys.